Welcome to the news broadcast on TayNinhTV radio and television station. Ladies and gentlemen, in the morning of October the 5th, the National Assembly delegation of TayNinh province has a meeting with the judicial agency ahead of the second sessions of the 15th National Assembly. Mr. Phạm Hùng Thái, Deputy Parliament Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee and head of the delegation, chairs the meeting.
Ms. Hoàng Thị Thanh Thúy, Deputy Head in charge of National Assembly Delegation of the Ninh Province, Mr. Huỳnh Thanh Phương, Secretary of Goyao District Party Committee, and Mr. Trần Hữu Hậu, member of the Ninh Lawyers Association, also participated in the meeting. Leaders of judicial agencies reflected and proposed difficult issues and obstacles in the process of implementing local policies and laws, especially handling the impasse and inadequacy in the process of disseminating the laws and regulations and central government documents related to judicial activities. Mr. Phạm Hùng Thái recorded the comments reflected by representatives of agencies and units. He also further explained why the Criminal Procedure Code must be amended. According to Mr. Thái, it's necessary to adjust the relevant legal provisions to comply with the free trade agreements that Vietnam has joined in. The head of the National Assembly delegation of the Ninh Province suggested that judicial agencies should specify recommendations and supplements to contribute to building a suitable legal system close to reality, ensuring that they come to life and implement effectively.
And also in the morning of October the 5th, the delegations of Standing Committee of TayNinh Provincial People Council, led by Ms. Nguyễn Đại Thị, Vice Chairwoman of the councils, had a meeting with the leaders of the People Committee of Tân Biên and Tân Châu districts and the task office of the areas.
The head of the People's Committee of Tân Châu district said that in the 2017-2021 period, the total budget revenue of the district reached more than 989 billion Vietnam dong, accounting for over 102% of the plan. As for Tân Biên district, the total budget revenue obtained over 728 billion Vietnam dong, reaching a rate of more than 106% of the plan. Meanwhile, the tax office of Tân Biên Tân Châu area has collected the state budget of over 574 billion Vietnam dong, reaching over 112% of the plan. According to the report, in the period of 2017-2021, the area has a number of stable and sustainable revenues, including personal income tax, collection of land use levy, collection of land lease, and non-agricultural land use tax. Vice Chairwoman of the Provincial People's Council Nguyễn Đại Thị highly appreciated the budget collection work of the two localities, as well as the tax office of Tân Biên Tân Châu area. She also suggested that in the coming period, the unit should actively exploit the strengths of locality in budget revenue, promote supervision in land rental collection and personal income tax, strengthen online tax declaration, stepping up reform of administrative procedures, and thoroughly dealing with tax debts.
Turn to other news. The People's Committee of TayNinh Province has just assigned localities and prevalent departments to revamp circulation of goods, agricultural productions, and consumptions, as well as the movement of labor among province and districts, from getting disrupted and also ensure the safety of the disease prevention and control. This is in response to Directive number 26 of the Prime Minister on promoting the productions, calculations, consumption, and export of agricultural products in the context of COVID-19 prevention and control.
According to the assignment of the Provincial People's Committee, the Department of Planning and Investment should coordinate with all the sectors concerned to timely support enterprises, cooperatives, and business households, ensuring the prevention and control of COVID-19 in accordance with the actual situation in the locality. The Department of Transport will establish a working group to guide production, business establishments, and transport units in the circulation of goods, promptly advise on settlement as soon as difficulties and problems arise. The most important thing is to prevent circulation of goods, agricultural production and consumption, as well as the movement of labor among provinces and districts from getting disrupted. Promulgate policy to support car owners and drivers to reduce transportation costs, consumption of agricultural products, and circulation of agricultural supplies. The Department of Agriculture and Rural Development is coordinating with the Department of Industry and Trade and units concerned in formulating plans for agricultural products, consumption, and export. Avoid disrupting the agricultural production chain and bringing stability to people's lives and promoting growth. It's necessary to synchronously take measures to prevent and control epidemics in livestock, crops, and fisheries, prevent and strictly handle cases of illegal transport of animals and animal products from abroad into Vietnam. The Department of Health and localities should prioritize vaccination for human resources operating in harvesting, processing, circulation, and export of agricultural products. The Department of Industry and Trade and localities with bodegas assigned to actively support enterprises to solve difficulties in warehousing, reservation of agricultural goods, transportation, logistics, and commercial services at the border gate. Strengthening strict control of the border gate area to prevent and control the COVID-19 pandemic, and ensuring the custom clearance of agricultural products in all situations. The Standing Committee and two boards of the People's Council of Cù District held a meeting with representatives of communes and towns to review their performance in the first 9 months of 2021 and deploy tasks in the last 3 months of the year. Due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Standing Committee and two boards of the District People's Council have restricted direct surveys and supervision over sectors in the district. Instead, they have increased urging and monitoring the settlement of recommendations of voters, especially the opinions of voters related to social work and economic development, as well as the reception of citizens as required. The Standing Committee of the District People's Council soon coordinates the Standing Committee of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Committee in the district to develop a plan to contact with voters after the 13th session of the District People's Council and the 19th session of the Provincial People's Council. The Standing Committee of the District People's Council also collaborated with the Standing Committee of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Committee and the Election Commission to organize meetings between voters and the deputy of the 15th National Assembly and the People's Council at all levels for the term 2021 and 2026. As a result, the election of the 15th National Assembly and the People's Council at all levels for the term 2021-2026 has been successfully organized. The Standing Committee and two boards of the District People's Council have mobilized donors to support 750 gifts worth 225 million Vietnam dong to the frontline forces against COVID-19 and people in difficulty due to the impact of the pandemic. To be recognized as New Style Rural Communes, localities must meet 19 criteria, including the environmental criterion number 17. However, maintaining this criterion is a challenge for communes that have reached the new rural standards. Hoa Thanh Commune of Châu Thành District reached the new rural standard in 2020. The locality is making efforts to maintain new rural criteria, but the most difficult of which is environmental criteria. Regarding waste treatment, Ms. Nguyễn Thị Kim Tuyến, chairwoman of Hoa Thanh Commune People's Committee of Châu Thành District, said that the commune leadership has already built a plan and signed contract with a garbage collection company in Ninh province. In the coming time, especially the rainy season, the commune has had a specific plan with urban environmental company that will collect waste from resident houses, particularly the residential areas in Hiệp Phước Hamlet and Hoa Thanh Market, to avoid affecting on other residents in Hoa Thanh Commune. According to the environmental criterion number 17, communes that meet the new rural standards won't have environmental degradation activities On the contrary, they need to organize activities to develop a green, clean, beautiful environment, as well as to collect and treat waste and wastewater according to regulations. Hòa Thành commune of Châu Thành district is actively seeking for solutions to secure the environmental criteria of a new rural commune.
Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic with the emergency of new strains of SARS-CoV-2 make the pandemic become complicated, seriously affecting the socio-economic situation and life of people nationwide, including Tây province. Facing the situation, Tây women have been organizing many models, practical and meaningful activity, promoting the position and growth of women to join fact with all levels of government and stand side by side with frontline folks to fight against the pandemic.
These are Zero Dome Trust and Zero Dome stores in Guyau district. For months, they have been continuously moved from the district to the communes and town to share food, support necessities for disadvantaged women, for workers in boarding houses, and for people in the blockade and isolation areas. Since the outbreak of the pandemic, the Women's Union of Communes and Towns in the area has mobilized over 3.5 billion Vietnam đồng to support the prevention and control of the COVID-19 pandemic. Realizing that since the implementation of Directive No. 16, the consumption of agricultural products in the locality has been facing many difficulties, apart from supporting necessities for people. The women's unions at all levels of Hòa Thành Town have called on everyone to jointly help farmers consume agricultural products. Meanwhile, the kitchens serving the isolation areas have been lit daily by the women of Châu Thành district. Since the outbreak of the pandemic, 3 meals a day are carefully prepared by the women, ensuring nutrition for those who are in isolation areas. Women at all levels have also volunteered to participate in contact tracing, measuring body temperature, or taking samples for COVID-19 testing for the locals. The job requires them to contact with a lot of people, so the risk of infection is very high. There have been many women who become F0, F1 cases. Instead of being worried or desperate, the women encourage each other to keep on trying. And so on, good models and meaningful activities of women's unions at all levels are constantly being pressed on over the province. Up to now, with the enthusiasm, the spirit of solidarity, the women's unions at grassroots levels have supported over 28 billion Vietnam đồng in funding for activities of helping and sharing love during the pandemic. The Provincial Women's Union has organized a series of activities, including an online Zero Dome supermarket opened once a week, or meaningful activities to share with the Women's Union of Ho Chi Minh City through the Gratitude Trust carrying vegetables. Recently, we have also responded to the program with a specific activity of giving 10,000 gifts of sharing love with a budget of 100 million Vietnam đồng. Now we are still organizing other activities so that none of the women are hungry and none of them are deprived during the pandemic. The women's unions at all levels in the province have promoted their roles and responsibilities, organized many practical activities, as well as good and creative ways that have contributed to spreading the kindness and sense of responsibility of each cadre member and people in the area to join forces for the community to quickly push back the pandemic and bring life back to new normal state.
That's all for today TTV News. Thanks for watching and see you next time.